Hello, peoples. Hope we're all well. We don't have a subject tonight because of Tyler. It's all his fault. So we're going to blame
Fair
Tyler.
enough.
Yeah. So we're going to be waffling complete bollocks. And as before we went live, we were talking about the old TV adverts. And the
Which
fact
Tyler knows nothing about.
Yeah. There are no
Not the ones over
memorable-
there.
Well, there are no memorable TV adverts anymore. There aren't. They're just like PC. It's got to be right and seen as right to the right people and all that crap. It's nowadays.
I mean, you've either got the PC shit or you've got all the political side of it.
You know what I mean?
You know, where there's just people bashing each other every 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's
like the Ferrero Rochers that only come out for the ambassador's reception.
Yeah.
And you had the chocolate adverts like Black Magic and Dairy Milk.
Yeah.
Milk Tray.
Oh, the one everybody wanted. Oh, the one all the lads wanted on the Flake advert.
Yeah, but then you also had the Buddy and the Caramel adverts as well.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but the rabbit just didn't do it for me.
Craig obviously has a different take on things.
See, I was young then. I was a youngster then. I only remember these adverts because they come up in these 1980s things and all that.
So tonight he's playing that I'm not that old.
Yeah. So moving on. You are right, though.
The adverts were better in the 70s and 80s, I'm telling you.
But it's like, it's like all the old Christmas catalogues.
Yeah.
You always used to get the
Christmas. Your mum's catalogues that got stuck on the
No. No. But it's like the Christmas catalogue.
Right page, Lingerie.
like the ones where like it was always those those Christmas catalogues that you used to get from the likes of the Boy Scouts, those kind of ones.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to get the personalised pens and you'd get the little Dairy Milk miniatures that you had to put 2 pence in for each chocolate and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. How is it?
Things that you'd never buy yourself anyway.
I just think that I suppose we all look back because it's certainly for me and Bill, it's our youth that things were better then. The like music was better, the adverts were better, the TV was better, the cars were definitely better.
Yeah.
The motorbikes were definitely better. So yeah, I am moaning. I am. Well, not moaning. I'm just reminiscing over like the old days, and I just think it was a simpler time. You didn't have to worry about.
That's the thing. It was a simpler time, and we didn't have a lot of the worries.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was all perfect. There were bad people about in that time, and there were bad things obviously going on. But we know that. But it just seemed easier. Seriously thinking of banning my other half, you know. The other old farts turned up.
But no, I don't think technology has advanced as much.
Well, isn't it,
You know-
no, I think technology is a marvelous thing. Right? When it comes to computers, great. Televisions, great. Music, not so great. Because I'm going backwards with my music. I'm going backwards. I prefer vinyl. If I'm listening to music, I listen to vinyl because I prefer the sound of vinyl. If I'm listening to it in the car, obviously, then it's on like MP4s and stuff, but or I stream it. But I am not dancing around in the garden again, Lisa. I got arrested last time.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
last time they complained about the size of the fire in between us, the fact that we were going in circles. They got all weirded out about it.
It was nothing to do with that. It was to do with the sheep's head. That was what it was.
Details, Matt. Details.
No, it wasn't to do with the sheep's head. It was to do with what you did to the sheep's head.
You're going to get me banned up here permanently, I tell you. There was no harming of animals in any way.
I meant you boiled it.
I bought the sheep flowers before.
He even inflated the sheep beforehand.
No,
Well,
definitely no things like that, Avley. Yeah, like you can now have a studio like you've got and do your production and do producing for other people. Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, 30 years ago, if you wanted to produce music, Jesus Christ, that was not a home production thing. That was
No.
It was
a
money.
shitload of money.
Mm-hmm.
That was thousands
And that was
thousands.
for low quality studio time, not even,
Yeah.
people
If
knew
you're
what they were
talking
doing.
about a proper studio 30 years ago, you're probably talking £250,000, if not £500,000, to build a proper studio. You're
Honestly,
talking crazy.
I worked on one 86 into 87, and that was $500,000 just for the studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you think about how much that would, in today's money, you're talking about 2 or 3 probably. 2 or 3 million.
No, stupidly not, Craig, because it hasn't gone up in price much.
Oh,
The price of, I mean, you can have a studio in your home,
yeah.
like in here, for instance, easily for, I mean, I don't know what Lee spent. He spent quite a bit, but it's not, we're not talking millions, put it that way. You're talking, and Lee can do all the production with what he's got. So that bit's definitely is a good thing.
I mean,
The advances.
think about it as well. Also, I mean, a fully professional studio wouldn't be cheap
It's
nowadays.
not cheap. It's not cheap, but they haven't gone up as much as other things because the technology itself's become a lot cheaper.
Because most studios now use Cubase and things like that.
Yeah, and they're recording digitally, so they don't have expensive tape machines.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Hi, Steve. Hope you're feeling all right.
Hey, Steve.
I mean, you can have a first cut of a CD end of a day.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is, I mean, if you look 30 years ago, if you wanted to hear what somebody was doing in the studio, you had to wait for them to do a master copy and send you the master copy. Hiya, William.
Aye, William.
Send you a master copy or do a recording of the master copy onto tape, send you it, and then you listen to it. Lee regularly sends me what he does, records in the studio, sends it to me and G for. I'm not sure why he sends it to me for my opinion, but anyway, sends it to us for our opinion. Straight in, it's straight over. So we listen to it and say yay or nay or what we think, our opinion. So in that way, it's come on a long, long way. It's so much easier. And the expense of like magnetic when they were recording magnetic tape. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Mm.
When it was on 2-inch tape, the tape would cost you £1,000.
Yeah, and it didn't last that long.
No.
Mm.
Didn't last long. But I have to say, some of the original recordings of old stuff on tape actually do sound phenomenally good.
Some of them do, yeah.
Really do. Something special about it. It's this thing of everybody now wants clean recordings. Everybody wants a perfect clean recording. Why?
When it comes to vocals, that's where I absolutely detest this thing for it all has to sound perfect. No, it's supposed to be a human voice. No human voice is perfect.
I
But
think
then
that's
the
what,
problem as well, also, is they have such a clean recording, and then they go to a live show of that person,
Yeah.
and then they think, "No, this shit,"
auto tune.
because their voice is so much different to what it's been on the recording that they've got.
And we end up with auto tune.
Yeah,
I was
because
going to say that, yeah.
because it's been auto-tuned within an inch of its life. They've even got real-time autocorrect now.
Yeah.
And all you've got to do is set parameters. And if you're more than 5% off each note, it will snap your voice to the lines. If you've got somebody who naturally sings slightly flat, though, they're going to sound completely wrong.
Yeah. It's why most big stars now can't sing for shit live. There is a few people who can still do the live thing, but a lot of them can't. A lot of them really aren't that good live.
And that's where you watch Wings of Pegasus. He takes footage off YouTube of shows, isolates the vocals,
Yeah, three.
3 different shows, and see how much the voices are varying, and if they're not varying enough, it's like, no, they're using the recording from, and he'll actually track down the first time that the recorded voice was used. And it can go back to the 90s for some people.
You see, I think if you start fucking and trying to make, especially a rock band, if you try and make rock or metal, when you try and make it clinically perfect, forget it.
Yeah,
if you've
you
taken
can't.
everything, it's not meant to be sound like that. It's not meant to sound like that.
No,
I mean, think how long it's been that way. I mean, I'm 32 and I've never actually in person heard vinyl. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been digital as far as for my entire life, if not my entire life.
It was 1986,
Three.
87. The first
Three.
CDs came out.
83.
Was it that?
Brothers in Arms was the first album released on CD in the UK.
Fucking expensive on CD as well, it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was about 83. Might have been 84.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it sounded good. It did sound good.
One of the problems we've got now is some of the DACs take all the soul out of it. Because some of the newest DACs have got AI built in.
Yeah, I agree, Stevie. It will be because it's not being messed about with. It's not been ruined. And nobody uses the sound systems like they did 30 years ago. Nobody has Stax and Marshall anymore.
No.
If anybody's got a stack of Marshalls behind them at a concert, I guarantee you, then none of them are turned on.
Possibly one or two.
Might have one or two, but what is the audience is going out to the audience. It's not what's behind the band.
No.
And
no, because most of them are going through.
Of course, Tyler's now in an era. If he goes to see a concert now, it's all governed because we're not allowed to go over. I can't remember what the decibel limit is now. I think it's 105 in most places. When I first started going to concerts, there was no decibel limit.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, believe me, some of the bands I went to see, I came out and 3 days later I was still deaf.
Yeah.
We're talking about dangerous levels of loud. You talk about...
You could stick your head
and that's with you standing next to the speakers.
Yeah,
as well.
Jet exhaust and it'd be the same.
I've fallen asleep against a stack before.
Yeah, so have I. Oh no, that was Kiss's set.
No, I was laid down when Kiss came on and I fell asleep.
So, do you know, I bet a lot of people fell asleep for their set.
Exactly, Lee. I'm sure many of us old farts who've been to concerts over the years, our hearing is not as sharp as it could be.
I can still hear someone opening a can sitting at the back of the bus, though.
I bet you can still see somebody say, "Oh, that $5 I owe you." Yeah, I've seen Motorhead quite a few times live, Stevie. And yeah, I was at Hammersmith when they played Hammersmith when they started dishing out. They were still doing glasses. Yes, proper pint glasses. And I can remember standing there and my glass slowly filling up, my beer slowly filling up with bits of plaster that was falling off the Hammersmith Odeon.
Jeez.
It was about 128 decibels. Well, 747 is only 110 on takeoff. Motorhead were louder than a 747 at takeoff, mate.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you definitely walk out with your ears sort of. Yeah, you can't hear much for a few days.
And say, my problem was I was often stood virtually in the speakers. I mean, you'd be at least 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Manowar were as bad as well.
Yeah. A lot of bands, Maiden in the early days were.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Maiden topped out at 126 when they were checked.
I know in sound checks, Manowar regularly would hit over 130. Regularly. There's a recording on YouTube of somebody trying to do it on their phone, and you can't hear fuck all. It just distorts. As soon as Manowar start, it distorts because it's that loud. And that's from about 200 feet back.
Mm.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tyler, you're probably never ever going to hear that level of volume.
I just looked it up. Max in the US is 107.
Wimps. That is less than half the volume.
It takes, what is it? It takes double the wattage to increase by 3 decibels.
Yeah.
So for every decibel, 3 decibels you go up in volume, you need double the wattage of power. If you think Manowar, Motorhead, all of those big guys were probably running.
And it's a logarithmic scale as well. So every 10 decibels is double the volume.
Yeah.
So we're actually talking about, we were listening to stuff at 4 times the volume.
Yeah.
Hey? Nothing wrong with my hearing.
Thursday. I said Thursday, Grandad.
Nuki Brown, please.
But yeah, some of those concerts were loud. I mean, probably one of the things that saved my hearing was not doing more than 8 days on a tour.
Amazing how you offer a beer and Lee hears that, isn't it? Fucking amazing.
But yeah.
No, that's just because that's all the cannon fire we use, Stevie. It's just. On a serious note, Stevie, how's things going with the medical stuff, mate? Are you any closer to being more sorted, mate? I do hope so.
Mm.
Yeah, I hope so.
I can't
At
see
least the transportation, something.
It doesn't surprise me. It's the government. It's again, like we've said other weeks, without going into the ranting and moaning it, but it's the government trying to just save money in places they shouldn't be trying to save it. That's what this is, pure and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes the piss, Stevie. It really does, mate. It's
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we take a piss, it is very serious and it needs to be sorted.
Yeah.
And quickly, because if it's left too long, it's
Yeah.
very serious. The thing is, I mean, we're just going on the people we know this is going on. So if we know this many people is going on, how many other people in the country is this going on with?
Yeah.
Gotta be a lot of people who are suffering because of this.
Oh, it's got to be.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Like this week, my doctor's now decided I got the carbamazepine, that was all right, but he's completely lost. And I do what you do, Bill. I always keep a stock of painkillers in my tablets.
Yeah.
So I have a stock. Completely left all my painkillers fucking prescription. And I know it's the doctors because you know you get your form through saying blah blah blah. You ordered this, you ordered that, you ordered this. He's just not put it on the list.
Yeah, my doc. It's not the doctor that's doing it. It's the dispensary are knocking off anything they think they can get away with.
Well, guess what?
Mm.
They've got a surprise coming tomorrow morning. Me, pissed off.
It's
Because I
all
do
right.
need those. I don't take medication and painkillers because I like taking them.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No,
So, yeah.
I mean, my doctor's trying to stop taking repeat prescription orders over the phone. They've got a small number of people who they have given an exemption to the new rules.
Fuck's sake, Stevie.
Fortunately,
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who got the exemption because I'll have the odd month where I don't need to order something.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they get that sorted. I mean, it's good news that your dad's got the date, Lisa.
I don't think it's God help you, Lisa. I think it's going to be God help them if they cancel it.
Yeah.
Not myself. Do you know, I was just thinking that, Lisa. I was just thinking it does sound very, very familiar. Yeah, well, it ain't very funny, and I ain't laughing, Stevie.
Yeah.
It ain't a fucking fun, you know. A joke is something we all laugh at and have a giggle about, but that ain't a joke. You know, you mess with somebody's health, and we all know the results of what happens with diabetes, and it's a serious thing. A very serious thing.
Why is there a montage?
The problem is like I'm not going to go serious and ranty, and I'm not going to try and rant. But this government are doing this. Oh, we'll save money by stopping this and stopping that, and cancelling people's surgery and blah blah blah. If they're over a certain age, you know.
Well, they've got another one as well, though. If you get something like my doctor's surgery, where it's supposed to be 10 doctors minimum, and they're down to 5, but they're taking out all the support staff as well.
Mm.
So there's now one receptionist. There's one person in the dispensary. There should be 4 in the dispensary, 4 receptionists and 6 secretaries.
Yeah, the pharmacy I use are now dropping the Saturday because they're open from 9 till 1 on a Saturday. Now they've stopped that. Brilliant.
Exactly, Lee. Exactly.
There's a doctor here.
I never thought much of the Ed Miller band anyway. Can't play guitar to save his life.
Oh.
Well, you probably are. slightly dehydrated because all the fluid's passing out your leg.
Yeah. And the vaping won't help because obviously vaping naturally dehydrates you anyway. But I'm not saying you should quit vaping, but you always need to drink
Well,
more with
no.
vaping, which we all know that. But
Matt, it's only if you're on high PG that it dehydrates you, because vegetable glycerin doesn't dehydrate you. Yeah, it stabilizes dehydration.
I mean,
It's
I
proper-
tend to drink a little bit more just to be sure. But yeah, I mean, we've got to wait for government to come back in yet, haven't we? And see what great news they're going to come up with next.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think there's not going to be any good news, is there?
no.
That's all right, Steve. Should really do a show on diabetes at some point. Do a proper show on it. And if
Yeah.
you're up for it, Stevie, we might get you come on.
Yeah.
You can come on and we can talk about the effects of diabetes and how it does affect you in daily life. The bad sides of it and
how you cope with it.
Yeah.
Because I know we make a joke of stuff, but there's...
Nice one, Steve. I'll sort that out with you this week.
Yeah.
I'd say, especially knowing that I'm at the very early stage of like pre-diabetes and everything. Talking to somebody who's went through more than I have, obviously, it's nice to have kind of a foresight a little bit, and what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Well, losing your leg is definitely a no-no.
I know that part.
I don't think Stevie would advise that.
Hey, Matt, know me. I keep it in a jar in the spare room.
It saves on shoes, I suppose, but
Yeah, but does he? No, he would still have to buy the pair for the prosthetic.
Oh no, he has to buy them. They have to be special ones, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
He goes to Quick Fit.
Oh, there's another advert. Can't get better than Quick Fit Fitter.
The Stevie goes in and they jack him up and balance his leg.
The fun part is when it's spinning at full RPM.
Yeah, when they forget to take it off and spin it.
It's when they have to put him on the hoist.
You're going to get fuck off, you bunch of cunts, in a minute, you won't you?
Valve and balancing, yeah.
It makes you wonder where they do connect the air hose to, doesn't it? Anyway, moving.
I didn't want to think about that.
I think there's a tiny little valve at the front.
Yeah, trouble is when he's finished at the hospital and they disconnect it, all the nurses scatter.
Stevie, yeah, definitely. How it affects others.
Yeah,
definitely. Because this is what we were saying last week with the mental health thing. Because obviously diabetes affects your moods, obviously, because high, low sugar, that affects you.
Yeah. You know,
And
it's
obviously,
not that we were talking behind your back, but me and Matt did.
well, we were
So-
talking behind you. We often talk about you behind your back and call you all sorts of things, Stevie. But anyway, moving on. But yeah, it's a serious. It's one of those things that, like mental health, people forget how that affects. Like I said last week, how it affects others, that your loved ones, and it does affect them. It affects them more than it does you usually.
Mm.
And diabetes is a lot the same. You know, obviously with Stevie's better half, Carol, obviously she's had to put up with a lot of worry.
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably would, to be honest, Steve. Yeah, losing a limb. I mean, obviously that's not something I've ever, and hope I don't have to go through. But I can't imagine that being an easy thing to have to deal with. As much as yes, I take the piss and all the jokes about pirates and all the rest of it. But seriously, you know, it's
Mm.
apart from how it affects you for if it's a leg, you're walking, your balance, getting about, driving, all of those things. There's also how it affects you emotionally as well. It must affect you emotions. So it's got to in some way. And I believe any disability affects you. Physical disability does affect you mentally. It does. Yes, we know you think you're the Terminator, Mr. Dobson. Either the
no,
Terminator or should be
it's
Terminator.
RoboCop.
Did you say cop or yeah? Anyway,
Well, it's his thing for uniforms.
yep. We've told him, Lisa. We've told him.
The problem is for Tyler in America, the whole way the food industry is set up there,
Oh,
it's
God,
guaranteed to create diabetics.
Oh yeah. I mean, how many
it's,
things have we looked at in the last few months that should not have as much, if any, added sugar to them as they do, and everything does?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it annoyed me because I have a low tolerance to milk protein, but I can eat yogurts because of the lactic cultures.
yeah.
So I went and I looked at it. It's like, look at all the yogurts. It goes low fat, low fat, low fat. No, put the fucking fat back and take all the sugar out, will you, please?
Mm.
You know, leave the fat in the yogurt. Take the sugar out of it.
I mean, it's good that you've got like that. That if you're getting depressed because of it, Stevie, that somebody will come and help you. That's good. But the problem is that it's definitely a tiered system. You know, if Carol's suffering with her own mental health problems, she obviously needs somebody or someone to help her. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. She should have somebody that she can
Mm-hmm.
talk to, if she wants to.
I know someone who would probably be dropping him in it, but you're Alana.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Lisa, come to that. Although I know Lisa gets quite busy.
Alana will talk to anyone about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, you want it on my face?
Are you sure it wasn't Trill birdseed, Lisa? It was actually cereal.
Oh, some of that. Yeah, the no added sugar stuff is dreadful.
What scares me with America is they are like they are with a lot of their foods and their additives. Their additives are proven to give people cancers. Their food is proven to give people diabetes.
Yeah.
But of course, that's ideal for Big Pharma. Sorry.
Mm.
It's ideal
That's
for to give people, it's perfect for them.
That's one of those that always annoys me. In America, they've got this system. You can do anything you want until you can prove it's dangerous. And then it'll take them 30 years to actually do anything about it.
And somebody will still argue with the fact.
Yeah.
Mm.
Give them something that you can prove gets them away from the harmful things and gives them something safe. No, can't do that.
No.
Once everything gets outlawed here, if it's good for you.
Well, case in point, we've all got them, vapes.
Yeah. The thing is, William, is most American food is not sugar. It is corn syrup.
Mm.
99.9% of their sugar is corn syrup. And corn syrup is lethal. It is. I mean, the additives. We laugh about Tyler when we go through his what's in like potato flakes that they make mashed potatoes.
What do you think that is, Matt? That's the bacon.
That is not
What?
bacon.
That's not bacon.
What?
I know it's not.
Bacon pieces.
Oh, no. Bacon flavored pieces.
Why don't you just get, those things that come in a packet that look like a bacon rasher? And then you put it in a pan or on a skillet and you cook it.
See, I can't have pork and neither can she, so her reasoning is that doesn't have pork in it.
Then you buy turkey bacon.
Yeah.
I get it. I've tried it. It's not the same by any means, but
That's the one, William. It's cheap.
oh yeah.
This is the trouble in America.
Soya's got a big problem in America.
Well, like, have you seen the prices of eggs have went up here like crazy in the last couple of weeks?
No, not living there.
Well, I know you know how it is, but here it's not horrible. It's about $6-7 a dozen.
What?
It's oh no. There's other spots in the U.S. where new laws passed as of the first of the year. They're up to $20 to $30 a dozen.
Okay, right. I can go down the road from here. You've had duck eggs before, I'm presuming, Tyler.
Yeah.
Right, duck eggs, much bigger. For 6 duck eggs, I pay £1. If they're chicken eggs for a dozen, we pay £1.50.
Jeez.
And they're
And
off the farm.
And
fresh.
I was gonna say, keep in mind too, yours are off the farm fresh. Mine have been put through all the wash processes, all the bleaching process for the
They've
shell.
still
all
got the
that.
feathers. They've still got bits of like dirt and bits of feather on them. They're literally out of the chicken, out of the hut, into a
No,
tray.
That's how I grew up eating eggs. We literally got them off farms when I was a kid, and they was the same way. They weren't cleaned.
Yeah, good point, William.
Why are the
William,
duck
that's a
eggs
good
cheaper
point.
than the normal eggs? Why are the
What?
duck eggs cheaper than the normal eggs?
I don't
Is that
know.
because no one wants them, or
Well, people around here, I mean, we get duck eggs all the time. Duck eggs, don't know, but chicken eggs are cheap. Duck eggs are cheap because it's all farms around here. The farmers that
Yeah.
grow, and if
I
they've got too many, they just stick them out for whatever.
Mm.
So we don't pay.
I mean, I'm just thinking. I can go and buy Duchy of Cornwall. You know, the really posh eggs. Still come out of a chicken's ass.
Yeah.
But I'm still paying less than £4 a dozen for them.
I just don't know how in America you can pay that for an egg.
No,
Trust me. As one of my few, like, 'cause I make breakfast sandwiches for my whole week for work. As one of my few safe foods that I have, for the price of eggs to go up that much.
So the next thing that he'll have in a little tub that he's got to pour out will be powdered eggs.
Oh, you can already buy pre-scrambled eggs in a bottle.
Oh yeah,
liquid
Yeah.
egg? Yeah.
Yeah,
but it
egg
tastes like
substitute and all that
shit.
shit. Yep.
No thanks. I'll buy half a dozen. If I want scrambled eggs, I'll buy eggs and I'll scramble them and cook them how I have my whole life. It's
yeah, it's
I don't know how
See,
much chickens are to be honest.
Here's the
William.
messed up part. Over here, chickens are actually ridiculously cheap. I can go to Tractor Supply right now and get a dozen chickens for probably $20 at the most, and that's probably including feed.
Have you got enough area in your place to do that?
No, not with the neighbors and my dogs.
Well, kick the kids out and put the chickens in the house.
Mm.
Well, of course, being that I live in city limits, technically you can have chickens. Technically, you can't have chicken. You know, it's one of those things.
Mm.
So if one person complains, then I have a whole issue.
So this is a country that you can have a tiger or a lion on your property, but you can't have a chicken.
Depending where you live and which permits you have.
And they call and I'm supposed to be the one with severe psychological problems.
I know.
Honestly,
Jeez.
Keep in mind, I'm technically from a farming state that has become so much, transformed from farms to cities. You can't find a farm. I mean, within probably a half hour where I live.
Yeah, because your farms are not farms anymore.
No, they're not.
Company farms.
Oh no, these are still local. These are still local families doing it.
Yeah, but they're still going around injecting them with growth hormones
and everything else,
and antibiotics and everything else. Yet they forget to give chickens vaccinations against salmonella.
Right.
Stevie, I don't care how much the goose weighed. I am not paying 135 quid for it. I'm sorry. There's something wrong in this world.
That is.
You're right, Lisa. Yeah, we did use it in the war. If it came to it, would I eat powdered egg? Yeah, of course I would. But while we could get fresh eggs.
It was a war. You didn't have much choice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Would I eat? I would eat. Yeah, I'd if it was rationing and all that. Then yeah, obviously. But America is supposed to have the best of everything and the best of this, and it's obvious most Americans actually believe it.
When if you read a single label on what you're actually buying,
Well, phew. Yeah,
sorry,
it's a horror story.
if you can pronounce half of what's in the label, you're doing pretty well.
Well, I was going to say, you've got that small issue with the growth hormones. It's increasing the average weight of Americans, even if you eat normally. I mean, our normal, not American normal. The growth hormones would still make you put on weight
Mm-hmm.
because they're retained in the flesh that you eat, in the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Antibiotics giving rise to more and more antibiotic resistant diseases.
Which is why there's more people getting sick in America.
Mm-hmm.
Which then means they're having to go back to the big pharma, and big pharma are charging more for medication that works. It's just a vicious circle, and at the base of it all are big pharma.
Yeah. But I mean,
Oh, William, you're not wrong. Look at food coloring alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of it's banned in anywhere this side of the Atlantic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of the food colorings that you use, they're banned in countries like, like India and Pakistan and China.
You can't even get cochineal in this country anymore, can you?
Nope.
No.
The problem is you've got a president will be coming into power soon, Donald, who thinks the idea of a healthy meal is a McDonald's.
And the best way to solve mental health problems is to work more hours a week.
He's kind of got a fair point in that by doing more and working in a way can improve mental health. He's kind of right, depending on what mental health it is.
Well, and if that place is causing you mental health problems, that's going to make it really helpful.
Yeah, you do have the small issue of work-related stress.
How do I feel about, self-medication? If you're overtaking prescribed medication for psychiatric issues, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And I don't think you should be doing it. If you're prescribed, take the prescribed amount is the simple answer.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's prescribed at whatever level it's prescribed. If that isn't working for some reason, then you need to go back and speak to a healthcare professional, especially regarding psychiatric stuff.
You're sort of right. A lot of manics try to avoid being diagnosed because if they're working, it affects their ability to continue working or get promotions or anything. So they'll drink more. A lot of schizophrenics do the same, though.
Yes, we
for
do.
the same reason. And trust me, it is exactly the wrong thing to do.
It is. What I would say, from the show's point of view and everybody on here, we are not healthcare professionals. So I can't say you should go and do this. If you're having trouble with mental illness in any way, the first thing is to speak to a professional person. A professional. presuming you can get in to see one. And if they prescribe you whatever medication, stick to that medication. If it does not agree with you after the period that's suggested to you, then go back and tell them and explain it doesn't work or you don't feel it's working. If you're
Normally,
using
I'll say,
illicit substances like alcohol or illegal drugs, I would say no, don't.
why would they stop taking medication and drink?
Well,
Because some people use that in the benefit system because it gets them a lot more money, and that's the only reason they're doing it. Also, they don't actually give a shit about the kids.
the simple answer, I'm not sure exactly what point you're trying to get at here. But my simple advice is if you or someone you know is having issues, then the first call is to seek medical professional help. If you think a child is being neglected, that's a whole other ballgame, a whole other story. If that is the case. Alcohol is definitely not going to help. It will mask it. And masking it is not good. But everybody has their own opinion on how they want to deal with their mental health, unfortunately.
I can only echo what Matt said. See a doctor as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I would say see a doctor as well. Yeah.
Well, you're saying, well,
Hi,
obviously
Gary.
they don't care
Hi,
about
Gary.
their kids, and that's why they would do that instead of buying necessities like clothing, bedding, and food. Well, let me ask you a question then. Have you ever suffered with mental health personally? If you've been in a position where your mental health has been so bad, your decision-making process is skewed, it is amazing the things you will do when your mental health gets to that point. Believe me. Because your mental health will get to a point with certain, especially bipolar, schizophrenia, and other disorders like that, it can get to a point where you will try and take your own life. So you're not thinking about anybody or anything because your health is that bad. That's why I say, if you've got somebody who is suffering with it, try and coax them into going and seeing a professional. That's my advice. That is what I would always say.
Yeah.
Definitely. Don't force them into it. Don't shout at them. Don't be abusive and say, you've got to. Talk to them. Advise them.
Another one is look up local mental health services and just get the phone number and give them the phone number for it.
Yeah, because
They can go in on self-referral if it's...
Well, it gives you another course of action. You can think, you know, whatever you're going through at that time, you might look at it one day and think, fuck it, I might give it a go.
Yeah.
I might be able to help. And as soon as you take that first step, that's the big one. It's getting that first step, getting your foot inside the door to talk to somebody and then open up whatever it is and talk about it. Not an easy thing to do. I assure you, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, precisely, Gary.
Exactly, Gary. That is exactly it. You've got to give the person the option. forcing somebody into doing it is not going to work. Believe me, as somebody who's suffered with schizophrenia in most of his life, you're not going to force me into doing something I don't want to do. Believe me, it ain't going to work.
Same with me with bipolar.
Which is why we were saying about how hard it is for partners and loved ones of people who suffer with mental health. Because dealing with somebody who's suffering with mental health is not an easy job. Not an easy job at all. I wouldn't want to deal with me every day. Not sure Alana does at times either, but that's a whole other story.
I've seen the videos she keeps looking up. She definitely doesn't cope with you very well.
How to get rid of body.
Go and have a word with one of the nice farmers down the road.
Nothing would shock me.
Well, now the hard part now is the wheelchair.
Yeah. I am detachable from the wheelchair, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, but you're easier to get rid of.
I use the
Particularly
wheelchair here because it's comfortable.
locally.
No
I
more
said
mental
to-
health questions?
To go back to what one thing you say there, Tabby, it's not necessarily they don't care about the kids. It could be they really don't know how to get out of the mental situation they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might care and almost care too much to the point where they just, to survive, switch off.
Oh no. That's just depressed me. Gary's trying to drive.
He's worked his way up to the Fisher Price one.
I have little steering wheels.
All he's got to do now is work out how to get both legs inside it.
Is it a red and yellow one?
I was just thinking that. I was just a little tight one, yeah.
But it's got flames going down the side, so it's faster.
It is when he's at the top of the hill.
No, about halfway down the hill.
That's when the flames come out.
It's got all to do with the car. Brown flames.
Mm.
Well, no, we won't mock Gary. Just
So, does it have a slot that you put a pound coin into?
what, the car or Gary?
Both.
I don't want to know where your slot is, thank you. Oh God. God, thank God he's in the south.
On a serious note, I hope you managed to learn to drive all right.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a big difference to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be more accidents in the south.
I can recommend you don't buy a Jeep. Tyler will tell you why in a second.
We can all recommend that.
Yeah.
You know, driving a Jeep, you're doing 40 down the road as the back wheel does 50 past you. What we know about those nuts made of Swiss cheese?
Yeah, same with the oil pan. Sorry, the block that the pan attaches to.
That Lee, that doesn't mean anything. He might, because he's got a car, he might venture into like more habitated, bigger areas.
Mm.
Oh God, he's going to be driving for a job. No, oh God. You're thinking about something small like a Focus. How about I've got the perfect vehicle. Something small that's good on fuel consumption. Oh, you Mike.
I am.
Hey,
I've got it. I've got it for his bread delivery. A trade bike with a big basket on the front.
what, like Granville had, stacked 5 boxes high?
Roll.
Get a cloth.
Better cloth.
Yes, Gladys Emmanuel.
Oh, don't talk about us, Isabel.
Yes, Gladys Emmanuel.
Don't get many of them to the pound.
Don't need many.
No,
You don't get district nurses anymore.
no.
Actually, well, we do. We've still got a district nurse.
You know how excited he got when he went to tell that?
We do.
Actually,
Mm.
He's been following them round, hasn't he?
Mm.
Man from Whitney stalks district nurse.
mysterious air tags found in all their pockets.
Knowing your luck, mate, you get a district nurse with the Nora Batty tights,
Called Fred.
Fred.
The hands like 40 grit sandpaper.
That's a bit of extra friction.
Oh, that's this show band again.
Mm.
Just 1 week. 1 week. 1 week without
No,
getting
you
back.
can't manage it.
No, but I'm trying.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know.
for us to get 1 week out for a decent show like that, we'd all have to call in sick.
That's
It'd
it.
be a
We'll
black
get
screen for
somebody
2
else.
hours.
We'll get someone else to do the show till the figures go up, and then we'll take back over. We'll get somebody responsible.
Well, fuck, man.
Do you know
I was
anybody?
going to say, you know anybody?
Yeah, do you know anyone?
No one, none of my friends are responsible. They're all irresponsible idiots. Yes, it would be a no, Gary. Yeah. And before anyone else says it, yes, Davros is off for a week.
Mm.
Exterminate.
Like I say, seriously, yeah, Gary, good luck with it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah, I mean,
it opens up a lot of things. You know, even if you don't drive as a job, being able to get to the job.
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? if I was able to work, I wouldn't be able to get to most places where there is work if I couldn't drive. Well, yeah, precisely, Mike. I haven't done responsible for years. It was bloody awful, that 20 minutes.
Well, and plus, Gary, then you're not worried about bus schedules.
Mm.
I said, Tyler, if you lived around here, you wouldn't be worried about bus schedules anyway. There aren't any.
Mm.
It's supposed to be every half an hour when they feel like it.
Once a week. That's typical bus drivers, isn't it? They're all as bad.
Yeah, it's just when you look at the bus timetable for here, they stop at 5 o'clock. Everybody finishes work at 5:30.
The thing is, the government want more public transport used. But public transport is getting more and more unreliable, which is not the bus driver's fault and it's not the bus company's fault.
Well, it's 50-50 with the bus company, because if they are not unable to properly maintain the vehicles,
The thing is, if the government wants people to start using public transport more, they need to support it.
they need to support it, and also they need to see. The problem is there's plenty of areas around us that they can actually put buses to, but the company won't run buses into that area because they don't think, one, it'll make any money, because it is a company at the end of the day and they want to make money, and two, they just don't think anyone will use it.
Yeah, they are, Gary. They are testing hydrogen and they are testing electric buses. But where does the money come from to pay for the buses to replace them to electric and to hydrogen? Where is that money going to come from?
It's usually government. It's usually the government that are paying for them, because the government have setting aside money for electric buses,
which aren't
and also with some investment from the company that's going to be running them.
And it's not going to work. We know it's not going to work.
I mean, you think back even to the 80s, the local council financed the bus service.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And if the service was being run properly, at the end of the year, it would show a zero balance.
The issue is a lot of people now don't work 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
They work different hours. Like Lee, for instance. Lee works different hours, which is no fault of his. It's no fault of the bus company, but he needs to be using either a car or a motorbike to get there. It's public transport is not going to work for people. It doesn't work half the time. That's without, unless you put on top of that, if somebody has mental health issues,
Yeah, just using public transport.
Anxiety of getting on a bus.
Yeah.
People never think of that, you know.
But one thing they're still not looking at. Yes, they're putting in an electric bus station.
But where does the extra power come from to supply
Yeah.
the electricity to the buses?
They're not looking at sorting out the basic infrastructure for electricity. You know, in summer, this town's running at 90% of the capability of all the electric lines in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly, Gary. You work at strange hours, so a bus is not going to work for you. I'm not slating or putting down the bus drivers or the bus companies particularly, but buses don't work for everybody.
Mm.
They just don't. And if you want to get anywhere quickly, let's be honest, going by a local bus is not always the quickest way.
I mean, it'll sound stupid, but one of the best systems put in, Sheffield's done it, Manchester's doing it, the tram system.
Yeah, but that's not new. Trams, we had trams 60,
I know, we
ago.
got rid of trams in the 60s. Then in the 90s, they started putting them back again. And the thing with the trams was when they put the tram system in, they were able to put in a set of laws to stop people overtaking trams.
Never had a show on for a very long time.
Exactly, Mike. You have
Yeah, well,
panic
we know
attacks.
that with you, Mike. Yeah.
You know, you have panic attacks for other reasons because of what occurred.
Mhm.
You know, but there is a lot of other people not in that position, but similar positions who can't use buses.
Yeah.
And the public transport system in the UK, I'm sorry, is not up to the task anywhere near. I mean, you look at the price of rail travel. Fuck me.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go, let's say, go up to Scotland, see your brother. For you alone, that would probably be 200 quid.
I'll tell you in a minute.
I'm just
Just
looking
one-
now.
I reckon 200.
Yeah, we're back to what I was saying with the corporation buses.
And in
It
London,
did
it
work
makes sense, Mike.
it did work better because it wasn't reliant on it to make a profit.
And in the old days, the bus
Fucking hell.
system,
Right. For a single ticket, for me to go from Paynton, where I live, to Kilmarnock, my hometown, leaving at 20 past 11 tomorrow morning, it is £176.50.
I wasn't far out.
And that's three changes.
By the time you've added your coffee and a sandwich on top, there's 200 quid.
Yeah. Yeah. But if I leave around the same time and drive up, I still get there at the same sort of time.
And
it
you
costs
spend
me £70.
Yep.
In fuel.
You can take the whole family up for the price of one ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, even now,
No,
because
You could do the full journey there and
Yeah.
back
in the price of that, yeah.
for the price of a
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
And that even
I mean,
allows for paying the price for motorway services coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
no,
scary.
and also if I went with the kids, no, because they're actually old enough, they'll do the full journey up in one.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely a cock up when they privatised the buses.
And the railways.
Yeah.
And British Telecom. And British Steel. And, we get carried away here, but I see a pattern here.
Don't forget the water.
True. And gas. Let's be honest, the biggest rip-off out of all of it was British Telecom.
To upgrade to first class, okay,
Oh,
which means I can enjoy a spacious seat with even more legroom and a larger
sure?
Wi-Fi allowance. It's
Sure he's
£230.
You sure he's Scottish? He's looking up first class.
No, it's just because I've had to continue.
I'm just trying to work it out. Looking at first class can't be Scottish.
Oh, okay. So looking at the first class, it's first class is not available from Payton to Newton. Newton Abbott to Birmingham, you must reserve a seat for this part. Birmingham to Carlisle, and then there's no first class seating available from Carlisle to Dumfries or Dumfries to Kilmarnock.
Here's one for you. Where's your nearest airport to Paignton?
Exeter.
You could drive to Exeter and get a flight from Exeter to Edinburgh.
Or Glasgow. Glasgow it would be.
Glasgow. Yeah, Glasgow.
Just look up a flight.
It'll cost you less. Yep, exactly, Stevie. 75 quid, 700 miles. So you'd be looking up to from Paignton up to the probably a tank and maybe a tank and a half ish. I'd say, roughly. It's got to be about 600 miles up to.
Right. £318 for the round trip.
Which is actually still cheaper than the train.
Yeah.
The train's 340.
And you get to deal with British Rail employees.
Mm-hmm.
Who, let's be honest, most are a bunch of miserable.
Oh, that's the nice ones.
That's me banned from British Rail forever.
Like you were going to use British Rail.
Never. I haven't used a train in years, mate.
Last time I used the train was to go to Newcastle to pick up a car.
And it was called the Flying Scotsman.
Wish it had been.
I like steam trains.
So do I, but 30 quid for a ticket to go to Pickering, 20 miles away.
Let's be honest.
Flying from Bristol. So if I went, a week tomorrow, the flight would be 7 o'clock in the morning, and it would be 36 quid. Going from Bristol to Glasgow.
So what we have proved here is it is actually cheaper to fly than it is to drive.
If I went tomorrow, it would be 98 quid.
Yep.
So it would probably be half a tank of diesel, probably. So that would be 45 quid. And then 40 quid for the parking.
Still cheaper than the train.
Yeah, not by much though. Yeah.
Yes, but what would you
But
rather?
then the thing is, if I...
What would you rather go by? Your own car where you can have peace and quiet and drive up in peace? Or on the train with a load of fucking idiots? I would sooner go by car than I would by train.
Well, considering also I'd be up in Glasgow, I'd still have to pay a couple of £100 car hire as
Yeah.
well if I'm there for a few days.
Yep.
But not only that, if I took my own car, I'd still take my cool box with me and fill up with sliced sausage, blackwood, and haggis, that sort of stuff, and bring that back down to go in the freezer anyway.
Yeah. There may be some truth to that, Stevie.
Possibly. But
Well, I said Dave worked on the team designing it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Then they realised his version of the safety valve didn't work.
What, his or the trains?
Well,
yeah, so even with it being an 8-hour journey, normally, and I'll just stick the car in cruise control, stick the radio on, listen to the radio all the way up.
And have a sleep. Yeah. Cruise control on. Lane departure switched on. What you got to worry about?
What's
Yeah.
lane departure? I don't have lane departure on my car.
Oh,
don't forget you need the
Oh, that's the rumble strip, yeah.
yeah, and don't forget you need the but you need crash avoidance braking system on as well.
I've got that.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Take your pillow, stick that on the side pillar. Fall asleep by sort of Exeter, Bristol by the time you get up there. You're all refreshed again. Road safety.
Craig died peacefully in his sleep. Not
The
so much.
passengers not necessarily, yeah.
The passengers died screaming.
Yeah.
Wake up!
Oh, coal shoveler. Oh, yeah. Ah,
Yeah, it was before they got their own name as Stokers, wasn't it?
Mm.
ah.
Or shovels.
Oh no,
One
they
piece
had
at a time.
well, that was how he did his karate training.
Ah, yeah. Ah. Ah,
Suzuki Swift look nice, but I think the insurance are quite high. I would suggest you have a slightly smaller car than a Focus, especially with like a 1 liter or a 1.1 liter engine. That would keep your insurance down a bit. It will still be high.
You know, I'd go with
Toyota Yaris.
nah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Little types.
Just make sure you cut a hole out in the floorboard so you can sit there and kick the ground when you're going.
I'll just pick up an old Tonka.
Right.
We'll take the front seat out and sit on the back seat then.
Yeah.
Someone I used to know that I used to have a Mini. He was about 6'7". He had the back his front seat out and sat in the back seat.
He ain't that tall. Why don't you get a car from your own country? Oh shit, that's right. Southern Ireland's never made a car, have they?
Where was the DeLorean made?
Why's that Southern Ireland? Was the DeLorean made in Southern Ireland? I can't remember whether it was made in the north or the south.
Wasn't it Belfast?
You know, I can't remember. Gary, Back to the Future. I'm sure we could con Lee into being Doc Brown.
But it does have to be said, Gary.
Yeah. We got to go back to the future. We got to go back to make his mother wallow.
I haven't deleted anything. And why are you sending Tyler AA info? If I'm thinking this is somebody you know, Tyler, possibly,
Yeah.
am I thinking somebody close to you?
No. Well, not who you're thinking of.
Okay. We have already spoken about this, and to talk about anything to do with alcohol really on here isn't the place. What Tyler talks about privately is exactly that, privately. So that's all I shall say.
Yeah.
Memories of Police Academy. Yeah, yes.
Oh, Stevie, you've not been back in the Blue Oyster.
Not again. Last time you was in there, you were complaining about you couldn't sit down for a week.
And I say, Gary, one thing you will notice when you start driving the first 5 years will be hellish expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for going with brokers, I would say be careful. You know, you need to be careful because there are things that are there's things that you can get easily caught up in with the sort of financial side of things very easily. Oh, that's all right. No, I'm not judging in any way. You know, it's, what he gets up to on the weekend. You know, I mean, Carol must be all right with it. So, did you see Stevie dancing in the Blue Oyster, singing "Macho Macho Man"?
Just no.
I would have thought it would have been more something like in the Navy, but
In the Navy. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no cheap way when you start driving. It's expensive.
no, there isn't.
There is a couple of tricks to save a few quid. One is voluntary excess.
What about driving into the Blue Oyster Bar?
Driving.
Sorry. Say, I've heard about Stevie's way of getting drinks in the Blue Oyster.
It sounds counterintuitive, but volunteer £500, voluntary excess. First off, because you know it's going to cost you an extra 500 if you have a crash, you'll be a bit more careful.
Mm-hmm.
But secondly, the insurance companies, I've known them halve the premiums.
Yeah.
You are still going to be talking minimum £5.5 a year for your insurance.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And the worst thing is, it's going up all the time. It's the cost of driving is getting worse. It really is. Cost of fuel is going up and everything, especially in the south. Fuel is a lot more expensive in the south than it is in the north.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 508.
What you get them to sit on in the Blue Oyster, Stevie, we don't want to know.
She knows that they were like bloody live stream. Nine trying to phone me.
Yeah. Driving is not a cheap thing to do anymore.
No.
Yeah. Although, because the tax in the south is different to how it's done in the north. There's a lot of different rules, so I don't know all the rules on the south.
I would look into which car it is for your tax. Because a lot of places around the world are increasing road tax a lot.
I, 'Cause, 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 Well, first of all, you put E10 in, you put super unleaded in, so that's more expensive. And second of all, Mike, you're in fucking London,
Hmm.
probably the dearest place in the fucking country.
I could. Do you think I should tell him what I paid for a litre for
Go on then. What you
super
paying?
unleaded? 136.
I won't tell you what I pay over here.
Now go on.
128.9.
Stop here.
If I buy regular petrol, it's 128.9.
That you need me.
It's just one in every 5 tanks I like to put super in.
Don't forget though, Gary, that the UK government are changing all the tax thing on cars at the minute.
Hmm.
So you guarantee it's not going to go down. You guarantee they're going to go up. Whether the South will do the same, I don't know. I would have stayed probably. They'll do something similar.
One thing I will say there, Gary, is you're looking, if you want to save money on your car tax, under a 1.2 litre engine or a diesel.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or a little Type.
A Focus with a 1.2 engine in is a waste of time. It's too heavy. The smallest Focus that's usable is a 1.6. I know they made a 1.4, but it's still underpowered.
Go and get a Mark II Escort.
Then blueprint the engine.
It'll be cheap on tax because it'll be vintage.
Yeah.
You won't have to pay tax. The
What
problem
need
is
an MOT?
the car will cost you about minimum of about 40 grand.
Dad, can you find a plane and buy my
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Oh, that is bad, Mike. I went to an SL garage and paid what I did.
I just use the Asda garage, to be fair. Never had a problem with that fuel.
I normally we don't have an Asda locally, so I normally use Sainsbury's or the SL garage.
No, I've often used Asda and their fuel's always been all right. I know Tesco had a problem with theirs at one point.
I'll be back in a minute. I want to say good night to him.
Go and tuck him up then. Notice I said tuck him up, not tuck him in.
I was going to say Sainsbury's for petrols, normally their price match.
Yeah, Asda do the same. Asda, you get they price match with most places. So they tend to be that. Plus, if I'm going to Asda, we're normally doing shopping. So go do any shopping and then go across, put the fuel in. It's all one trip.
Yeah, for me it's Sainsbury's because my nearest Asda is 27 miles.
That's really.
It's a little bit out of my way just to put petrol in.
Yeah.
I know. So. I love it.
I don't think there is any cheap options for you, Gary, really. To be perfectly honest. The days of there being cars that were cheaper to insure and cheaper to, run, unfortunately, I think...
First things first, Gary, a 1.6, the insurance premiums will be ridiculous.
Well, it depends. If
Unless
If
it's
it
a
goes-
diesel.
no, not sorry. If he goes for a 5-door, not a 2-door,
It's me. I love it.
that's the other thing. Don't go for 2 doors because the insurance company naturally think for some reason a 2-door is more sporty than a 5-door.
I mean, the other thing, it'll sound stupid. But look at something a bit older. Honda Civic, 1400.
I agree with Lisa. 1.2, old banger,
Yeah.
couple of years until you've saved up enough where you can afford to then start looking at something a little bit better.
I'll say something else as well here. 40% of new drivers write off their first car in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's the other
Yeah.
thing to consider, Gary.
Yeah.
No matter how good a driver you think you are, but the number of drivers who write off the first car is insane.
If you want something slow, go for a Jeep.
I mean, he wants slow. He doesn't want to go backwards.
Depends what. I'll stop. Yeah, my mate wrote off his first car. Not that long after he passed his test.
Yeah.
It was a 50-50.
Most people do write, I think, the first car off at some point, don't they?
Yeah, Lisa, you're right. My first car cost me 2 packets of fags.
That was fucking expensive. No matter how you look at it, and no matter what cars you look at, it's going to be fucking expensive. There's no other. It's just no. There's no alternative. You've got to pay your dues, like Lisa said. You're going to be fucking skinned. I'll tell you that now. It's going to be very skinned. And you'll
Who
suddenly
says?
be able to... You what, Bill?
Small clue. Takes a long while to build up a decent no claims bonus. You've got to do 7 years before you can protect it as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And your no claims bonus can be worth a lot of money.
Yes. Get yourself a transit van, then you can unlock a pikey, Gary.
Hey, it's working.
I say, it'd be nice to think it works that way with insurance, Gary, but it doesn't. You pay your money and get on with it.
Exactly, Lee. Gary in a tranny. Insert joke here.
As Lisa can tell you.
It's very painful being hit from behind by a tranny. Oh, that joke's never going to get fucking old. That's just...
Problems with the Clios were the engines are bloody expensive to get anything done to.
Mm.
Well, it's entirely up to you, Gary. I mean, you could buy a tranny, although that's called prostitution, or this is not getting any better the more I think about it. It won't matter what I say here, it's not going to get any better.
No, it's really not.
See, Lisa has experience from being rear-ended by a tranny.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had to wait until I got 7 years to protect my Aunt Lisa.
Are we still on about trannies or insurance?
Insurance.
Ah, that's okay.
So the scary part is, Matt, it's turned into a fine line, isn't it?
It is a very fine line. I can take any conversation and completely twist it and just destroy it. It's a natural, God-given talent.
It's basically a gift, isn't it? At this point,
I can pervert anything into.
Gift that keeps on giving.
especially when you don't want it to.
I wonder
Mm.
how much it would cost to insure a transit van. I notice I was careful there. I didn't say tranny this time. Because it used to be to insure a van was actually cheaper, but I bet you it's not anymore.
No, commercial insurance has gone stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, you'd have plenty of room then, Gary. I try my best to take the conversations in different directions.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Like,
good
just
news.
watch which model and which year you get on those. I had one and the thing fucking fell apart. Every other week, something else was wrong with it.
What are you on about? The car you own now is not much better.
Yeah, that one's more expensive to upkeep, so I have to take it to a dealership.
I mean, we're guaranteed that Gary is going to hit something with this car, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's going to be some poor unsuspecting granny crossing the crossing and Gary's going to run over her or something's going to happen.
On a light note, you know, I said stepdaughter-in-law's gone into labour.
Uh-huh.
She gave birth at 8:54.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Little boy, £7.14.
Lovely.
Well, Stevie,
Just avoid the rust.
It's very difficult to say which is the worst out of the two, really. Yeah, that's the same with me, Mike, because of my spine. I've gone for a taller car. Makes it easier on my legs and on my spine. It's more comfortable.
Must admit, I'm giving serious consideration to one myself.
What a tranny.
No, Honda CRV.
I got obsessed with trannies for some reason.
I'm glad you're in Ireland.
That's a statement to make, isn't it? I'm obsessed
All
with
right, let's
trannies.
see. Let's have a look at flights from Leeds to Ireland.
Wow.
Wouldn't because you're on the highest rate of pay, wouldn't you be able to get a mobility?
Only on standard mobility.
Only standard, right?
Yeah, I get mine on mobility.
Hmm.
Whilst my walking's restricted, it's not restricted enough.
You know, right? And of course, if you'd end up having to pay quite a bit of money if you wanted a better model, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You certainly do.
Mm.
Thing is,
Although, when you consider what you're paying, that covers you for your insurance, your tyres, your servicing. It's so really it is actually probably cheaper.
yeah, but Matt, except barring petrol, barring petrol, my car's costing less than £1,000 a year, including my insurance, road tax.
Until you have to buy another car.
Yeah, I'm looking at buying another one now.
Then you have to sort of divide that cost. You know, how often are you having to buy a new car? How much is that costing you split over that time period? Because I looked at it both ways, and yeah, there's advantages to buying a car, but there's disadvantages to it. It's
if I hadn't bought a car when I could have got one on mobility, I would have had 18 months without a car.
Yeah,
because they withdrew my PIP 5 months early.
They can't take the car straight off you.
It's only 6 weeks though.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Tell you now, it's not.
Mate.
Nope. They cannot leave you without a vehicle. If it's being taken off you permanently and you don't have it going back through to be reassessed or a reclaim, you have 6 weeks. If you're going through a reclaim or it's going through court proceedings, you keep the vehicle until those proceedings are finalised.
Right.
Yeah, I looked into that and made sure, because knowing what the government are like and a bunch of wankers that they are, there's advantages to both sides of it. You know,
it's one of those. I mean, my car's costing me what I get in mobility for a year. So
if it works for you, mate, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
I mean, I've had that car 6.5 years nearly.
Yeah.
It's been 100% reliable. longest it's been off road was 3 weeks, and that was just because my local mechanic was too busy to do the work for MOT.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was it. Most years it's gone through the MOT for 150 quid, 200 quid. I've only had 1 year where it cost a bit more.
Not well. They do push the EV cars, yes, Stevie. They do push the EV cars, but they're not just EV cars on there. If you look properly, because believe me, I am not driving an EV. I would not drive an EV.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have an EV living here.
No.
Most people, truth be told, most people do not. They are conning a lot of people into it, but then most dealerships are conning a lot of people into going for EVs.
Well, there's that thing that the manufacturers are being fined if they don't sell a certain proportion of EVs.
Yes.
And they've done it the last 3 months. They've had people put deposits on cars and they've not released the car until the 2nd of January.
Yeah.
Because it put them 1% the wrong side of the figures.
The EV thing all comes back to its government.
It's a scam.
Government. Yeah, and a lot of people have been missold EVs. There's a lot of people that have been missold EVs on Motability. And people are stupid enough to go along with it. But you know, if you're stupid enough to get an EV, I'm sorry, that's kind of your problem. It really is. Right, we've now been going 2 hours.
Bloody hell.
Shall we date a call?
Do suppose.
Yeah.
Do you suppose? No, I thought actually my battery was taking ages to charge. I've just realised I left it on 250 milliamp. That's why it was taking ages. Fuck off. Right. Lisa, I will send you a link across in a little while. In a few minutes. If you want to jump in, you and Lee. And I shall get you guys to do the goodbyes. Now, go, whoever is going.
Tyler's turn.
Sorry, I've got a kid with a Play-Doh Squidward nose over here. What?
I'll go then. I'll go then. You can deal with that. I'll go then. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. Come back again next week for the usual rumbles and ramblings. The group is there if anyone is struggling as usual. Please use it if you are. Let us know. Someone will get back to you. Yeah, have a good week. And I shall pass that on to Bill.
Yeah, cheers, Greg. Not a lot else I can say. We'll be in touch with you this week, Steve. It'd be good to actually have a topic for once. A hazelnut in every bite. Back to bloody adverts again. But yeah, It,
Whole nut chocolate.
it's been a rambling but interesting chat, as always.
Oh,
And
well,
the group's there. If you really want to see a lot of car porn, in particular the Jags, go over to the group. Because Steve's doing a fine job of posting some very exotic Jags.
Mm-hmm.
luckily, he's only sticking to that sort of porn and not his Blue Oyster porn.
No, he stuck that in the private chat.
I'm glad I don't go in there now.
I was just that's why I stopped checking that thing.
But yeah, I hope everybody has a really good week. We're here if you need us. And I shall see you next week. Over to you, Tyler.
All right. Well, as always, you guys have covered pretty much all the bases on everything. Everybody had tried to have another good week. I know it's early into the new year, so there's plenty of stress and everything else to deal with going on. So take one day at a time. We will see you next week. Hey, goodbyes, Matt.
I thought it was Craig had to go.
Craig started
No, it's
tonight.
you. I went first because Tyler
Oh,
was
no,
sorting the
Greg
kid
over.
out. Sorry.
Yeah, Tyler was busy picking his Play-Doh nose.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, yeah, we will be back next week, hopefully with a Stevie and a subject. See, it does happen once in a blue moon. We do actually have a subject. So, yeah, anybody needing any help, give us a shout. Anybody who needs just a chat, a bit of a chat, you know where we are. Give us a chat. Sort the room out and we can have a bit of a waffle and whatever. So, yeah. So, until next week, I bid you adieu. Or goodbye for you, Dominic.
Bye.
See you later.